What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And per usual, we got some special guests up here. So we got my guy Reese here, and we got my man Freddie from Leave It to Me Sports segment. Fellas,
Yes,
how's
sir.
everything going?
Happy Sunday. Can't
Absolutely.
complain.
Football
complain.
Sunday. Let's get it.
I understand that. It is a good Sunday. Not overly sunny, at least where I am right now. It looked a little cloudy at one window, but the other one looked a little sunny. So, that feel like it's good football weather. And, of course, we got to start it off right. Although this is called Get a Bucket, ladies and gentlemen. It's called Get a Bucket. So, we are going to talk about a little basketball. We got the WNBA up here. WNBA draft lottery just took place, We got a good – so we talk about a lot, but we're going to start it off with the NFL playoff prediction. So, before we even get it started, fellas, I just want y'all to take a big look at my predictions, right? And I just want y'all thoughts on this. So.
Ooh. You want to go? Okay. Yeah. You had me in the first half.
Ooh. Wow. Okay.
That's tough.
Wow.
All right. So, Freddie, I'm gonna go with you first. Go ahead. What's your thoughts on the playoff prediction?
I'll be honest, man. That's a pretty damn good list right there. A good bracket. You had San Fran versus Miami.
Yep.
I can't argue with that. The only thing I'll say be on the lookout for is if Cleveland is able to beat Miami today. That game's going on as we speak. And Deshaun Watson comes back in a couple of weeks and Cleveland sneaks into the playoffs. Other than that, I think Miami is the most dangerous team in the AFC. And San Fran, I think for sure will be there. So, yeah, that's legit, bro. Can't knock it at all, man. Good job.
I appreciate it. And I also got to say, too, when I looked at it, I thought about the Browns. I thought about Deshaun Watson coming back. It's just a big question mark for me still. Like we talked about it, I think at one point in time, like from suspension to Super Bowl, that would be a crazy storyline, but it's a possible storyline. So I agree on that. Reese, I had to save you for the last because I heard a lot of hemming and hawing. Like, I don't know. So like,
Put the list back up there. Put the list back up there.
All right, bet. Hold on. Let me. I feel like we might have to get on soapbox. So let me
go ahead.
Like all right.
Let me start you off like this. All right. What's going on in the AFC? So I know y'all did mention the Browns. So I'm gonna start there real quick. What spot would they take? The Jets or the Chargers in this case? Right. It would be the Jets.
Probably the Jets.
Probably the Chargers or Jets. Yeah, one of the two.
Right. So, I mean, if you got a Brown, KC kind of like that's kind of what we were just talking about, right? Like Kansas City are good against the run because they are always leading. Cleveland has a amazing backfield tandem. And I feel like with Amari Cooper, with Deshaun Watson throwing the ball to Amari Cooper, KC don't really have the best DB core. So it could get a little dicey, but you never can kind of bet against Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So if it's
Pat,
Browns, KC, I don't know what'll happen now. If it's a Ravens-Browns, it can get a little different. Like I could see the Browns sneaking one off, especially since the Ravens in the beginning of the season, they lost me some bread on FanDuel. They could not win a home game to say they tails. And I just don't know if that'll really come up. You know what I mean? Things like that come up in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And so, going to the NFC, I'm an Eagles fan, everybody. And Trey knows what he did with this. He knows what he did with this. We all understand that San Francisco has the optimal team kind of build to make it to the Super Bowl year in, year out. Great defense. They can run the ball. You know what I mean? They have a quarterback that will not put the ball in jeopardy. That's kind of what you want to kind of make a slow and steady trip to the Super Bowl.
And they got
come on, man. Let's get some respect to Philly. I'm looking at MVP conversations. They got Tua, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and then Jalen Hurts. I'm over here like your team is undefeated. You only got 2 or 3 takeaways 2 or 3 takeaways on the season. He's not putting the ball in jeopardy. He's making the right read, which I feel like is more important. You know what I mean? It'd be different if we were just barely getting by. He's giving me an interception or 2 a game, or somehow, you know what I mean, our offense is kind of collapsing. But I understand. Like I definitely think, especially with we're gonna end up having that first week bye. That is honestly my biggest worry for a young football team, is not playing football the entire playoffs. Usually teams come off of that bye week and they're a little stagnant. So I want to confidently be able to say that we would make it past the Cowboys, but that's the only, like, that, whoever that first game is, not saying it will be the Cowboys, but whoever our first game is, that will be our most difficult.
Okay.
If we can make it past that one, I kind of feel like it's a thing where you get hot at the right time and you can kind of take it all away from there. Now, am I saying we're going to win it? I don't know, but I think we're going to definitely get an appearance in that Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well,
I just want to make sure I clarify. So you agree with the list? Then it just sounds like I'm disrespecting, quote unquote, your team.
Yeah,
because
like you could have put Philly.
Like I just want to say again, I don't have them in the Super Bowl. Like I have them losing to who I think is the best team in the NFC, but that's disrespectful. That's slap.
You could have put them in the Super Bowl.
I feel like I have more disrespect towards the Packers right now for not putting them in the playoff race than I'm being disrespectful to the Eagles. That's just me. But you know, we'll save that. Freddie, I know you had a question. Please save that for.
Oh no, I'm good. I already know the answer to it. It's about his Eagles, but no, I'm good.
All right, bet. Because look, fellas, we got to do this, right, ladies and gentlemen. And let me go ahead and do this properly. It has come to my attention last week that me and this man Reese are playing fantasy basketball this week. Okay, we're matched up, people, and I got to make sure. Freddie, I need your attention on this one.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let me make sure. Here we go.
They got the best big three in the league.
He's 1 and 2. So let me see here.
The best big three in the league. Okay, let me glance.
I just want to say, for the record, right? He's up 1143 to 1084. See that 2-0 though, right there. I just want to say that. Anyways, so my team: Anthony Melton, Bradley Beal, DeMar DeRozan, Andrew Wiggins, Nikola Jokic, Tyrese Maxey, Royce O'Neal, Draymond Green, Kelly Olynyk, Christian Wood, with DeJounte Murray, Jalen Green, Chris Boucher, and Rob Williams. Reese, would you like to read off your team, or do you want me to just read them off real quick? It don't matter.
You only got to read them off. We got the best group in the league. I mean, that's who these guys are.
Garland, Brown, Tatum, Looney. Like, his team is nice. Valanciunas, Brooks.
And I'll have to put out there, guys.
Russell, Tyler Hero, cool. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, Siakam, all right, Marcus Smart, John Collins, Chris Middleton.
And so we're going to put out there real quick, though, Trey. Scroll down for me, because I opened up the app this morning, everybody, and saw that Trey had every single person on his team playing today. Okay, I'm up 60 points on the last day of the week. I'm in jeopardy of losing it. I had to drop.
That's why Trey wanted to talk about this.
I had to drop 3 guys. I dropped 3 guys.
Trey's a funny guy, man.
I dropped 3 guys to be able to compete.
Who'd you drop? Who'd you drop?
I'm not telling you who I dropped. I dropped 3 guys.
I'm checking it out as you
just
told.
to match up with this fella. And this is ridiculous. Because I want you to know, I got beat the same way last week, Freddie. I played a guy last week. He had 2 days where his entire roster played. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't compete.
Listen, that's why I've stayed away for the past couple years. Now, here's the thing, though. You always got to keep 2 spots on your roster of players that are interchangeable, right?
Yeah.
Dispensable players for that exact reason. Because, like you said, you got to be able to get that quick 25, 30 points when you need it the most, right? For these situations. So I always drafted that way. I do it the same in football. You got it, because you got some pieces, man. Some good all-around pieces, bro.
And that's what I'm saying. So, like, Looney, so scroll down for me, Trey. So basically, Looney, Dylan Brooks, and Santi are taking up right now Pascal, Marcus Smart, John Collins, and Chris Spy once if he ever comes back. So like you said, I got guys to kind of go into those spots, and I got people who score points. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna keep saying I'm a Celtics fan. I'm gonna keep saying that Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum are the best trio in fantasy right now. But let me tell you why. Okay, the other day we got 55 from JB and JT a piece. Marcus Smart gave me 10. Cool, right? Went into the chat and everybody knows.
He's a Boston Celtics fan, so just
clearly.
There's complete biasness because
all right. So
you gotta explain to me why Marcus Smart gets the nod over Malcolm Brogdon.
Okay, cool. Freddie, you want to hear it? Freddie?
That's because he's on your team.
No. We go to the next day on a back-to-back. Jaylen Brown does not play. What does Marcus Smart do for me? 60 points alongside Jason Tatum, 60 points. Okay, where's Malcolm Brogdon? What is the best ability? Availability. He's out. Okay, Marcus Smart plays games. Malcolm Brogdon is known to miss stretches of the season.
You said because Jaylen Brown had 30, 40 points. Well, no, 50 points.
Yep.
Jason Tatum had 50 plus points.
Yep.
And Marcus Smart had a whopping 10. That's the best trio. When I look at Malcolm Brogdon, his last game to that statement, when you made that statement, his last points were 10. So again, you cannot discredit Malcolm Brogdon. But I just wanted to point out that
I cannot play a man who
that was really the main thing. I just wanted to state that on record. Like, just notice the squad, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, you still got
these guys, man. Somebody get their man.
Reese, what you should do is go ahead and drop some players like, I don't know, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and then go ahead and fill out this week. I'll even let you know right now. I'll gladly drop 2 of my.
Trey, I mean, look, scroll up, Trey, scroll up. Freddie, I want you to know, Kelly Olynyk was mine. I want you to know, you had C. Wood from the beginning. You had somebody else on your squad that I had dropped and you picked them up. And I want you to know, it don't matter because I'm going to get them all back.
There's nobody.
He waiting.
Unless it was
drop because you're going to have to.
It was Kelly Olynyk. I think that's the only cat you got on there that I dropped.
Hey, and look, I'm real tactful too, so I will see exactly how many games I need to win in order to get to the playoffs and be like, all right, I can risk this week. I'm good. If it's a major injury, I got to let him go. If Buddy only going to be out for like 2 weeks, he's staying on the squad. We're just going to take some L's potentially. It's cool. Yeah. It's okay. And what I'm
really this week.
Hey, you did.
Believe that. You taking the L this week. Believe that. Melton gonna give you.
Talking about for next week? I haven't seen someone playing next week.
Today.
That could happen. I don't know. This week is done.
Next segment. We know. Next segment. We know what you're trying to put us up
to. I'm just saying.
Yeah, man.
Reese, I do want to say thank you for Kelly Olynyk. You know, I guess we can classify that as a as a trait. As you peep, we do have our WNBA sweatshirts on. So I had to make sure that we gave some love to the WNBA draft lottery that just took place on Friday, this past Friday. So there's a couple of ladies who I want y'all to just note real quick.
How about them Gamecocks, man? And y'all know she working out with Asia Wilson in the offseason.
Who's that?
Aaliyah Boston.
She gonna be that. Yeah. She gonna be that.
Haley Jones. She's kind of tough too. I'm interested to see what she looks like as a prospect.
How tall is she?
Right?
Say 6'1".
6'1". She don't look 6'1". That's crazy. Wow.
Now, Ryan Howard is definitely like the toughest WNBA player I've seen in a long time now.
You know what's crazy though? So when I'm watching old girl right here,
Is she right?
I feel like she reminds me of her just a smidge. Like she don't. It's not like you know what I'm saying. Like she got some. Rakia's alright too. Like Rakia's pretty smooth too.
Yeah. That's tough.
I mean,
I'm just mad at the Vegas. I mean, we gave up our pick, and we want to chip, but it's always nice to pick up new talent because it's so crazy and I don't know if y'all feel this way, but I feel like for like the WNBA, the talent every year is, I'm not gonna say it's comparable to what is in the league, but because of how quickly the WNBA is kind of advancing, I feel like especially over the last couple of years, especially when you look at prospects like Asia Wilson, Ryan Howard, and you kind of see how strong their game is. Yeah. And you know that the people who they saw as peers that are still in school, you know what I mean, can hoop like that too. So it's kind of like where it's like because of how nasty the kind of cap space is in the WNBA, whenever you can kind of pick up, you know what I mean, a college prospect that can hoop, it kind of really changed the landscape for a WNBA team. Whereas in the NBA, it's kind of like you want to go for veterans and professionals. Whereas I feel like the WNBA, like you still want that, but they got talent that's coming up.
Oh, absolutely. Because they come up learning how to play the games without using athleticism. Right. That's what all comes. So you're fundamentally sound from the get-go. That's why the European players, their skill, male or female, is always so far ahead because they learn how to play basketball. Right. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to just hoop, right? So, but yeah, I mean, the purest form of basketball you'll see in America is professional women's basketball.
Exactly.
No egos involved. That's amazing.
Exactly. Now, fellas, I got a question for y'all. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we talk a lot of sports. So, we were talking about football. Y'all, we talked about the WNBA. But we're gonna slide onto the NBA and talk about the Jazz real quick. And the Cavs. Well, and damn, actually the Wolves. Now I think about it too, because they had a really solid trade. All right, so
Freddie, I just want you to note the distaste in his voice when he said the Cavs. But I'm gonna let you go first and all these. I just want you to know.
I just want to let y'all know
he has something against Donovan Mitchell. That's all.
You will see there's clearly no distaste.
Sounds like it. I don't know, brother.
On the Cavs, like for the record, I have said the Cavs could go to the finals. Again, that does not sound like distaste. But then again, to be fair, he said I'm disrespectful.
It's not what you say, is how you say
the Super Bowl. So maybe his brand.
How you say it. There you go.
Is all. Who won this? Who won this trade? And long story short, and we're just gonna give the highlights, right? But you got Rudy Gobert, leading the Jazz. He goes to the Wolves. You get Spider, he leaves the Jazz, he goes to the Cavs. You get players like Lauri Markkanen, Malik Beasley. Those are the real notable players from that trade coming over to the team. Also, Walker Kessler was drafted. Who ended up winning this trade for you guys so far?
Between the three teams, right?
Between the three teams.
I'll let you go first, Ray.
Okay, yeah. When you say between the three, it's complicated. Because there's short-term winners and long-term winners. I think in hindsight, and when I say hindsight, we're talking a little over 10 games, who I think came out looking like immediate losers is Minnesota. And I thought they were going to look completely different than how they look. But definitely between Cleveland and Utah, I think they both came out looking amazing. Cleveland got exactly what they needed. And a guy that can go off and give you 40 from the perimeter, right? You have the two big guys who can rebound, protect the rim, make up for the mistakes up on the perimeter because you got a smaller backcourt, 2-6-1 guards, right? Mitchell, the guy who showed he could be clutch in the playoffs, it's now a guy that can close games for you. Then you have the floor general and Darius Garland. Now for Utah, of course, they stockpiled on picks. So they're going to be drafting high, hopefully, for the next few years. But even more so, like you said, you mentioned the players they got back. They got Lauri Markkanen and a few other guys. They got Jared Vanderbilt, so on and so forth. These guys are very useful pieces right now. And Lauri Markkanen, his stock went back up. His stock is probably the highest it's been since he had that one big year in Chicago. So you can actually trade him. You can trade Mike Conley. All these pieces. Utah winning 10 games? They're like 10-3. They're a top 3 team in the league as far as record right now. Lauri Markkanen is able to eat, and then you have that veteran in Mike Conley who's able to keep everything together, right? And I think that's important as well. So they have all of these pieces that they can move off of whenever they want to. The stock is up on everybody. And then for the future, they have all these pieces. So Utah looks amazing all around, man. And then just Cleveland, they're championship contenders right now. Oh, just to clarify, both Utah and Cleveland right now. I can't say one more so than the other because I think they both addressed what they were looking to do. And then Minnesota is a loser out of this. Okay.
Now, Reese, is there how do you feel about that? Is there one winner for you?
Yeah, I'm about to say I can't really disagree with anything Freddie said. He kind of hit it on the head for everything that I would probably say too. And kind of to even emphasize what you were saying about the guys' draft stock over there in Utah kind of going up. What's kind of even crazier, right, is that nobody on that Utah team right now is making over 25. And so you basically, and a guy like Danny Ainge, who's been in the business for a long time, he knows how to move money and he knows how to move picks. And so he's going to know before anybody else when he's going to pull the trigger on a lot of these moves. Yeah. But it's kind of crazy to think, like, I don't know where, like, I don't know. It's kind of like I want to see this team stay together and hoop because it's like it's a lot of guys who are kind of on like a second chance you type of deal where it's like they get to go out there and you are going to get their best ball. Like the coach, and that's what you talk about Will Hardy, a Celtics alum, like he is getting the best he can out of those guys. And you can tell when a team is kind of put together to lose, a team is put together to kind of just get by, but then it's kind of like, oh snap, like you kind of look in the locker room, I feel like those guys are looking around, and it's like, yo, like we can all like hoop. You know what I mean? Like we are all kind of like Freddie's saying, I mean, Danny Ainge, the best he can get is like low draft picks from contending teams because all he has on his roster, like I said, is nobody making over 25 and guys who can attribute to winning. And so when you think about it like that, it's kind of like, I mean, or I can just kind of pay these guys these middle of the tier deals and give them their proper contract extensions and kind of just ride this retooling wave because you never know what can happen. For example, the Pelicans having the Lakers draft pick right now and having a chance to get Victor, and they just had no idea that was going to be an option for them. So I don't know, it's crazy, but I would definitely say, I would definitely say Minnesota is just the only one that's looking like a loser, and that's bad because I really thought, I mean, I thought D'Angelo Russell was going to come out this year and be like 15-10 guy. You know what I mean? Like,
contract.
Let me
for a contract soon.
Let me do this. Let me do it like this, and I'm glad y'all went at the Wolves a little bit in particular. Like, matter of fact, let me kind of get on the soapbox. Not really, but you know, I'm not. Mine might look a little more special than y'all's off the break, but don't be jealous though. You'll get your time. To rebut real quick. I think it's too early, and I think it's unfair to say whether there's a winner or a loser. The reason why I say that, the Jazz look real well. It's 3:49, fellas. Hella early. Like, it's the same way. Like, it's like a lot of time left, a lot of season left. Then for the Cavs, I still have them as a contending team. But if they start disappointing, well, we gotta see. So again, contention don't really start until playoff time. Mm-hmm. It's 3:49, fellas. It's hella early. Then we got the Wolves, you know, like the Wolves, and this is where my soapbox happens. We got the Wolves, you know what I mean? Like the Wolves, I like these Wolves. Now I think it's just a little bit early right now. They can defend real well. I think, long story short, you got to wait till next season to really see how they're going to shake out. Cat, Ant, you got to figure out who's really the better one between those two, who's the real leader. I really think that's going to take a full season to get over Ant Still Young. Again, you're not getting anywhere championship wise, trying to figure that out. So I'm thinking next season it's now 350 or early. So again, for me, I feel like it's a little bit unfair to say that, hey, these boys are a disappointment, or oh, I gotta say they're the loser, because it's real early. So that's why I'm saying that. But I also hear why you guys feel that they are.
And that's why I preface mine as well by saying there's only about 10 or so games in. Because you know where I got them. I told you I got them ranked as far as finishing in standings about a top 4 seed, them being Minnesota, because they have all the pieces. Right now, it just looks like it's just a little bit more going on behind the scenes that we may realize. Because Ant looks a little out of whack. Yeah, and you look at Cat. I mean, Cat is who he is, man. The best thing that could have happened to him last year with Pat Bev playing with him, giving him that edge. He doesn't play like that day in and day out. I think with Pat Bev leaving, they don't have that player that's going to stay on Cat. And, I mean, you can see Pat Bev is wearing off on AD now, right? I mean, AD is now playing a little bit tougher. He's playing through injuries, so on and so forth. They got to go out and get a player like that, or else I think they're going to be in trouble, because Ant is, as great as Ant is, and I think he is their best player now, he's not going to get after Cat, and it's literally hurting him, because Cat could be a top 3 big man in the league if he had consistency. So, but yeah, like I said, I have him still finishing somewhere in that top 4, top 5.
Freddie, do you think them going to get Rudy? Because, and this, the only reason I'm asking this is because I kind of kept, I wanted the Celtics to kind of aggressively go after Donovan Mitchell, and Trey kept telling me that JT may become complacent having a guy like Donovan Mitchell on the team. Do you think that getting Rudy Gobert and kind of pulling Cat away from the basket, because Cat isn't as mobile, like Anthony Davis complains about running the 5 because he feels like he can, be a better help side defender as well as a better player by running the 4. But I've never heard Karl Anthony Towns say, I want to be the power forward. And it always felt like he could just give more as the center. So do you think them going to get Rudy Gobert kind of takes a step back for Cat in terms of his development? Or and will he get a little complacent playing next to a big that can kind of do all the dirty work while he kind of focuses on the pretty side of the ball, if you may?
No, I think it was brilliant. Again, when I first saw them make that trade, I said this is exactly what they needed. Because, I mean, Cat, he's 6'11", somewhere around there. He's not a real rim protector. He was probably a better rim protector back in college than he is now, right? But he has so much offensive responsibility. Now, Rudy comes in, he takes away some of that rebounding responsibility and rim protecting responsibility that you typically will have to rely on with Cat. But more importantly, I think the way of beating a team like Golden State and some of these teams out west is by having the inside presence. So if you can control the boards, control the pace, you can't outshoot Golden State, and that's what killed a lot of teams in the past. You're not going to win that battle, right? You got to be able to out-rebound them. You got to be able to beat them up inside on the post and have big physical perimeter guys. I mean, D'Angelo Russell is 6'3", 6'4", but he's not a physical guy. Anthony Edwards is. Kyle Anderson is a bigger presence on the perimeter. So being able to have that size gives you an advantage, especially in the Western Conference. So I'm all for it. I think Cat will be fine because Cat's one of the best shooting big men we ever seen. They should still be able to run action, big to big action, to where you can get Cat a mismatch in a post, or you can just post him and have Rudy kind of play out. But you can also put Rudy on the bench sometimes and run through Cat as the 5. They've been running like a point forward situation with Cat this year, so he's been a better facilitator as well. So they're trying to figure it out. Like you said, Trey kind of mentioned, next year you'll probably have a better idea once they really get a true identity. But I fear that D'Angelo Russell might not be a part of that.
Yeah,
in a long time.
Yeah. You muted, Trey.
Oh.
Trey, you muted.
I'm about to say let's not get too deep on that one. Appreciate you there, Reese. I was going in too.
I know, boy, I can feel it.
I was like, damn, it's quiet.
But yeah, what we're about to do is we're going to talk a little bit more about the Wolves, but we're going to see if somebody's going to want to come to their defense or not. But before we do that, I do feel like, Freddie, you might appreciate this one. So let's see how. Hold on, give me a second. Trying to moderate and it's a lot right now.
What about them Knicks?
What about him, my brother? What about him?
I like what y'all got, man.
I love our team. I hate our coaching situation. And
what's crazy is I feel like if y'all had a point guard like y'all have Jalen Brunson now last year, y'all could have been like this year would have been a real catapult year. Like I'm sad that this year y'all are gonna have that guy now, whereas I feel like last year's kind of when you needed it more.
Yeah, well, we have easily one of the deepest teams in the league, and I thought that's what was going to be the difference. And within our season this year, as far as us beating teams, I felt like we were going to be able to win the games with our second unit. When subs come in, we keep the games close enough with starters. Because most teams got 2 superstars, right, these days. But most teams don't have as deep as a bench. So I figured Quickly comes in, Toppin comes in, Miles McBride, those guys, Quentin Grimes coming, Derrick Rose. We got Fournier coming off the bench now. So we just had so much. I thought those guys coming off the bench would really give us leads, in which really.
Look, we're not gonna harp on the Knicks. That's about to be a full episode. We're not gonna do that.
Okay.
What we're about to talk about. I mean, look, I gave y'all a nice little highlight reel. Be happy, okay? Y'all don't have to.
All right.
To be fair, though, maybe you only got that because maybe the Minnesota Wolves defense is a little shaky. I don't know. Maybe we can talk about it. Like, do y'all feel like this is a lackluster team now? Because let's go down the rankings real quick. In 2021, the Wolves defense was rated 28th. In 2022, they jump up to 13th. All right. Now, after they get Rudy Gobert, they at 14th. So they dropped down. And you're still in the same realm, though, but Rudy Gobert is the defensive player of the year. And I just gotta say again, let me get on a little soapbox real quick. Actually, no, I'll let y'all start it off this time. Is the Wolves defense lackluster this year for you guys? Again, with the addition of Rudy Gobert dropping down a position, a ranking in the defensive rankings. Reese,
I was going to say I feel like it's tough. Lackluster, I feel like maybe knocking them a little too much. But I will say kind of like it's we're 14 games in, and so it's kind of like you're looking at what has happened in those games. And I think that, if you have a bad quarter, you have a bad half in 1 or 2 games, that will affect your ranking significantly. You know what I mean? Just because it's based on those overwhelming stats. And so I think when you have a guy like Ant-Man who can guard who's in front of him, Cat who can guard in front of him, and Rudy who can guard in front of him, I feel like, and then they have Jaden McDaniels at their small forward. So it's like, I think they can definitely defend with the best of them, but it comes into play where when you get on the offensive end, if you can't, to close the defensive possession is you have to get the rebound. I don't think they're going to have any trouble rebounding with 2 bigs and guys who are just have a good nose for the ball to go get it. Problem is when and this is what I was talking to Trey about the Lakers, you can have a good defense, but if you can't score on the other side, eventually people are going to become a little disheveled and they're going to stop putting forth a maximum effort. And that's kind of where coaching comes into play for sure. And I think too, I can get 3 stops in a row, but if I don't score in those 3 stops and then the other team comes down, they hit 2 threes back to back. Now it's like, all right, now we got to go score. Now somebody's turned the ball over. And then those numbers kind of and the possessions kind of get away from you. So I feel like their defense can be better, just like a lot of teams. I mean, Golden State, their defense looks awful in comparison to last year. You know what I mean? But good teams are going to figure it out. So I feel like it'll be kind of more fair. But, you know, we say 10 games isn't a lot. When you think about it, I mean, I'm going to say only, but obviously we know it's a lot of games. They play 82 games, right? So we're at 8th through the season. You know what I mean? And at some point, you have to turn it around. You know what I mean?
I agree. You can't keep saying it's early.
Right. You know what I mean? Because once you get to another 10 games, now we're a quarter through the season. You know what I mean? Though, like, to look at people's schedule and look at games in 10-game increments is very fair. And so if you feel like, if I'm a coaching staff and I'm saying, look, we need to break this down to like every 2 games. This is what we need to accomplish in our next 2 games. You know what I mean? And then kind of do it like that. And I think that's kind of where they need to do. And I mean, I personally feel like they need a new coach out there in Minnesota. I feel like a lot of teams could use new coaches. That if they really kind of make that, you know what I mean, Freddie? Like, I feel like a lot of teams could use a new voice in the locker room. And everybody, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like if I'm a coach and run and gun is my style, and my GM goes to trade for another big, you know what I mean? It's kind of like now the team doesn't really fit the schemes that I'm used to running. And it might not be because I'm a bad coach, but it just isn't the team that's necessarily built for me. And you can't build teams to a coach. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's not, you know what I mean? You're not going to succeed that way. You have to build around the talent that you have currently on your roster. And I think the Timberwolves and a couple other teams in the league have kind of evolved past their coach. But that's all I'll say.
Okay. So, Fred, do you? I guess it sounded like you agree, but I'll let you. I'll let you speak your own voice.
Yeah. Just kind of. No, I'm sorry. I was just glancing at something real quick. Yeah. So, Rudy Gobert is the defensive player of the year, right? Not this year, but just he's that person. People try to take credit away from him being that. He is that. Those were earned. And that's that. Now he's in a different place right now. You go from Utah to Minnesota. And I think that with them, it's a little, you got to look a little deeper into why their defense may not be as great. Like you said, I don't think lackluster is the word to use. A rim protector is going to be a rim protector, especially at 7'2". But they're one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league. They're like tied for like second or third for like third worst in the league, somewhere around there. And you know how that goes. You shoot a 3-ball and miss, the ball comes off long. Now the other team is going the other way with a fast break.
Yep.
So that definitely could help make someone's defensive numbers look a lot worse, because a lot of misses are going to lead to a lot of transition buckets for the other team naturally, right? Or in opportunities. Now you're following the transition, and typically your big men aren't able to get back that quick. So it's definitely some of that going on. And then just also maybe their pace as well. When you got too big, you can't play a real up and down pace. So I think even with their pace, if you're not scoring, every single time down, but the other team is getting out and getting those buckets, you're not going to look as good overall in general, especially in today's era where a lot of teams are getting up 43s a game, right? Minnesota's not that team right now that can do that. They're not built for that. And I think that's where they got to kind of look themselves in the mirror and say, okay, we have to more so play inside out. And again, you can do that with Rudy and with Cat. And that'll help their defense a lot if they're taking shots closer to the basket, because they're going to win on the boards more so if your big men are around the rebounds, right?
Yeah.
Fix your three-point shooting. Fix your offensive approach. But like Bree said, that may come down to getting a new coach. Take advantage of the 7'2" guy you just got.
It says right here, Cat is attempting 6 threes a game.
Yeah.
And he's making 2 of them.
Yeah.
That's good.
33% though. He's a 40% three-point shooter. So for him, that's not good.
Like I said, I'm looking to see next year. Like I'm being kind of, I guess, laissez-faire towards the Wolves right now, just because again, I didn't expect them to. I think they could be a 4 seed. I know Freddie and we definitely talked about it. Could they win the championship? I would be a little surprised, but Is it still possible? Yes, they could still turn it around.
For sure.
But I'm expecting more so towards next season.
They need Olympic Rudy, bro.
You said what?
They need Olympic Rudy. He can play some offense.
Well, so that I'm glad y'all spoke about offense, because I think you do need two-way talent in order to thrive, and I think they do have that. It just needs to take some time. But we're about to transition on into that next segment where we're going to talk about those two-way teams, not two-way players, two-way teams. But before we do that, Reese, I do believe you may or may not enjoy this one, okay? Because I think we both watched this game before.
I just want to let everybody know that the Lakers lost to the Utah Jazz twice. Just putting it out there. The Lakers lost to the Jazz twice.
It's not as bad as you think it sounds like. There's a lot of guys losing to them.
I just want to say you're a hater, so that is so crazy.
Parallel universe. The parallel universe. The Lakers with Washington.
Because wow, that's wild. Just enjoy. Just enjoy.
This is messed up.
Oh my goodness. Here we go. Yep, Utah, they beat some surprising teams, man.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Freddie,
Yes,
Jason
sir.
Tatum's the MVP. How we feeling?
Oh, I want to talk about MVP talk too, because this Luka stuff is getting out of hand. So we definitely got to talk about some MVP stuff.
Can we make that DPOY conversation MVP by DPOY? Can we just talk about both a little bit?
Ooh, that's gonna be tough, because I can tell you, maybe if we got enough time, but I can tell you right now that I don't know if we will. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not like MVP won't be able to get talked about. Like,
Yeah.
I think we'll probably, for the most part, all agree with Defensive Player of the Year. I think that's because it's such a short list. Yeah, I think we'll probably.
I got some questions.
Yeah.
I got some questions. Some questions about Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
Like I said, Jokic definitely hooped in this game. I need him to do a little bit more though.
I mean,
but I knew they were going to lose this game, man. I'm like, yeah.
They are finally. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I respect the Joker as the MVP that he is. Guys are finally putting him in situations where he has to foul, and he is fouling, and the referees are calling it.
Bro,
like,
you talking about one of the most overrated players in NBA history.
yes,
And he's still very good. But even with that, he's so overrated.
So that's kind of.
He would never be the best player in the championship team, man. Like,
you can't.
hell, man, he didn't deserve 2 back-to-back MVPs.
He did not.
Man, that guy, man. And
I'm
now
not
you
gonna
notice
take one of them from him, but he didn't deserve back-to-back.
he's averaging 21, 9, and 9 this year, and 21, 10, and 9 or something like that. And no one's talking about him because they finally realized, none of this shit matters if you're just gonna keep getting knocked out in the first and second round. Like,
Thank you.
But are you really gonna knock somebody for a regular season award?
yeah, because there's other people that should have won.
I'm just saying it's a regular season award, but you're talking about.
But it is the MVP.
Yeah, bro.
I hear you. But congratulations.
There's other people who deserved it when he won it. That's all.
I hear you.
It's the MVP. It is the regular season award, though. We're not talking about most improved player, rookie of the year. We're talking about the most valuable player. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I hear you. Look, his teams, to be fair, have never really been a defensive-minded team, which is why we're talking about two-way teams. They offensively minded, but they're not defensive-minded. And really a lot of teams aren't. In particular, there's about 4 teams that really classify for this classification. So we got the Cavs, the Raptors, the Suns, and the Jazz. And to be technical, the Jazz actually fell out of the offensive ranking, I want to say, to 11th over defensive, maybe. No, defensive, yeah, because they've been hooping on the offensive tip. The defensive, they 11th. But they were in the top 10, though. And let me just do this, right? I feel like these are really good teams. These are really good teams, people. when you look at them, and I was right, it's on the defensive end. Let me get on the soapbox real quick, people. When you look at them, I like these teams, right? Reese, I told you the Cavs could go to the playoffs and come out as champions. Like, we could be talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers as champions. We could very well talk about the Suns versus the Cavs. Are these 4 teams going to the finals for you guys? And they again,
name them again.
Offense and defense.
You said Utah, Cleveland,
Raptors, and Suns.
Why isn't Milwaukee up there? I'm confused. Why you ain't say Milwaukee?
Because they got to be top 10 in defense and offense, right?
So it's crazy. Offensive, they're lower than what you would expect.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man, 111 per game.
Notice I said offense and defense.
I was about to say I ain't say nothing about I couldn't say nothing about the Celtics, Freddie, because
I didn't say nothing about my Lakers, Freddie. So,
yeah, bro, but still, Milwaukee's still a good offensive team. I hear you.
I said top 10, and I had to sneak in the Jazz because they were 11. Now they were top 10 when I looked at it.
Okay,
but
my fault.
They're 11. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all disrespectful to Milwaukee. All right, my fault.
Hey, be mad at Milwaukee for not being the top 10 offensive.
Milwaukee's the best two-way team in the league, man. But
that's crazy because they're not top 10 in offensive.
Bro, but look at their differential. Like, when you start to get it, like, my fault.
You said, like, I'm just saying, like, you're bringing up the Bucks, and I hear you, right? Like, they're like, what is it, 10-1, 11-1, something like that, best team record-wise. I hear you. I got you. And it's funny because our next segment is going to make it sound like my statements sound long for a while.
Okay.
But again, they're not top 10 offensive.
So hear me out, right? To answer your question, if I had to pick 2 teams, and from this top 4, though, it would have to be Utah. I would probably say Utah and the Cavs. The only reason why I don't think Phoenix is because the guy who is at point guard and shooting guard, do not get me wrong, Chris Paul is not a slouch on defense. However, he is aging. Devin Booker, in my opinion, is a slouch on defense. And so when you look at, in my opinion, that's tough. In my opinion, I don't believe that he is the best shooting guard in the league. I believe he may be one of the best scoring guards in the league. But I personally feel like we look at the historic greats at the 2 position, they score and defend. Devin Booker may be now defending in these first 10 games. Check me by game 30. Let's see if he's still playing defense. That's all I'm saying. And so I think it would be Utah because, again, I love the fact that those guys go out every day and they look at the calendar and they can pull up FanDuel just like we do and see that they are not the favorites. Because why? They're not supposed to be winning games. So when you look in there and there's no type of pressure on you, and dang, I mean, the first quarter ended, we up 5. Second quarter ended, we up 6. Third quarter ended, we got a little close. I mean, shoot, fellas, let's go win this game. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, but when you look at Cleveland, though, I personally feel like 1 through 5, Cleveland may be one of the best defensive teams in the league. Freddie, I know you mentioned Milwaukee. I agree. Milwaukee is definitely a great defensive team, as well as I do think Boston is a great defensive team. But if we're looking at, like Trey is saying, in terms of rankings, in terms of both being top 10 in both categories, because I think Boston has the number 1 offense in the league, but we're ranked like 20th defensively. And now I would like to let everybody know, though, we have the best defense in the first and fourth quarter. Second and third, we kind of let go of the rope a little bit. But first and fourth, Boston is in the lead. We start back, we hold teams under in the first, and we keep teams under in the fourth. It seems like that's winning time. You know what I mean? It seems like, you impose your will early, and then you chokehold them at the end. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, but like I said, Utah and Cleveland. I'm gonna let y'all. Utah too.
Okay. Freddie?
All right.
Out of the 4, Freddie, you got to pick from the 4.
No, you're right. I'm gonna play the game the right way, but.
And again, just to be clear.
Say, well, real quick.
Utah. You said Utah and who else again?
I said Utah and Cleveland.
Okay, so you got Utah and Cleveland in the finals. If it's based on these 4.
If it's based on them 4 and them stats, yeah.
Utah, Cleveland,
Think about it, Freddie.
Phoenix and who else? Wait, who was the other one? Utah.
Right, it's Utah, Phoenix, Cleveland, and Toronto. I mean, only a West
top
and
10 in what though? When you say top 10, they're top 10 in both what? What are we talking about? Shooting percentage or point score?
Defensive ranking and
overall
ranking.
Gotcha.
See?
Okay.
See? It's everything.
My answer to this.
Four. Remember.
Utah, Cleveland, Phoenix, and Toronto. My answer to this is Phoenix because the other three, or no, it's Phoenix. Slightly over Cleveland. One, because Cleveland, their schedule's been a little ass, but I love Cleveland. Cleveland's a great all-around team. But I think Phoenix, me watching the game as far as Phoenix defensive game plan, they take your best player away from you and they make you do the things that you don't want to do. It reminds me of like New England style defense, right, in football. So I'll say Phoenix of that group, and then Cleveland. Toronto and Utah don't deserve to be in there. So y'all know, and you know who you should give credit is freaking Brooklyn. Brooklyn has not allowed 100 points scored in the last 5 games. Brooklyn is coming on as one of those teams. I don't like this list, but I'm gonna play y'all game. I'm gonna play y'all game.
Okay, but Brooklyn ain't had Kyrie and Ben Simmons is playing 10 minutes a game, Freddie. You gotta
hold on, Reese, hold on.
Damn it.
Hold on.
Tell the whole story, Freddie.
What? I just want to make sure. I just
Boston's not up there.
Nobody want to see that stuff, Trey.
One of the best free-point teams, one of the best free-throw shooting teams, one of the best defensive teams. Boston is one of the best rebounding, shots blocked, three-point shooters, free-throw shooters, and is averaging the most points. And how are they not one of the best two-way teams in the league? You got Toronto up there, man.
Freddie.
Oh my goodness.
Freddie, you're not mad at Trey.
And top defensive ratings. No.
You're not mad at Trey.
Give it to these 4 teams.
You're not mad at Trey, Freddie.
I gave you my answer, man.
You're upset. You are upset with the nerds. You're not mad at Trey. You upset with the nerds.
But that's what I'm saying. We basketball fans, man. Let's not play that game.
Like, I gave you these 4 teams, and you said the Suns and who else?
In Cleveland, man.
Okay, because that's what I would go with.
Ridiculous.
And to be fair, that is a realistic possibility. The Cavs could beat the Bucks. They could beat the Celtics. Like the Suns, they could beat the Warriors. They could beat the Clippers. They could
win a championship.
They could, like both of these teams could win the championship. It's just very interesting. It's just I just find it very interesting that the Jazz were in this ranking. That's all.
Look
like
who they played. So when you play the Lakers twice,
they played the Lakers twice. I know, Freddie, ain't that?
You're gonna be in there. You're gonna be dead last.
Let's not act. I mean,
one game will put you up in the top 5.
It's 2 games, fellas. Like, let's not scoff at their record like it's been trash. They played some solid games. They played some solid teams. So I mean, I can't just.
Yeah, they played the Lakers twice and beat them.
Out of 10 games, right?
You're right. I mean, look. I also think too, though, it's fair to say that you can't completely sleep on the Lakers because, like, if we start clicking well, all right, we can win the championship. So because you're saying that, like, I'm looking at it as okay, would they still beat a contending caliber word choice type of team? So I can't scoff at that. Similar to how the Cavs beat a certain caliber championship team twice, Reese, the Celtics. I just want to throw that out there. But you know that's.
Also, I would like to say though, outside of these rankings, I do think Portland versus Boston can happen
in the finals.
Yeah, if you really look at outside of the like top the 14 games, right? If you look at Portland, they're really holding cats under 115, 110, 105 points and winning the game.
I like Portland. I'm not a big fan of Nurkic personally. And I feel like there's going to be a few issues where he's going to cause like he's not big and he's not strong enough to guard the bigs. I understand we don't.
What bigs are he?
I was going to say I understand you don't have overly elite bigs.
Yeah.
Even with someone like a DeAndre Ayton, he's still going to struggle. And Ayton's been having a down year so far. So
I mean, he's going to have a down year. He don't want to be there. And so that's my point.
But even with, again, though, he doesn't want to be there. He's going to have a down year, and I still say he's going to struggle against DeAndre Ayton. Like, I'm not confident about my team if my big is going to be going. Again, like, it's a realistic possibility. You might see the Sun.
I guess my thing is, how many times has DeAndre Ayton scored 30 points in a game? I mean, based on the coaching.
When you got Mikal Bridges, who is playing full court defense on Dame, slowing him down while also giving you 16 points a game. And
if you want to put Devin Booker on Jeremy Grant, be my guest. Because I'll take that matchup any day. Jeremy Grant he just dropped 37. Jeremy Grant has the ability.
What do you think Devin Booker's been? Do you think Devin Booker is a terrible defender or something?
I don't think he is a good defender.
He's a very good defender.
But you praise Donovan Mitchell. That's crazy.
Hey, no.
He's a very good defender now.
Now
you praise Donovan defensively, but you're going.
Oh my goodness, Devin Booker.
How long has Devin Booker been a great defender, a good defender?
This year he's been amazing. Defender. He's been good enough for the past 2 years.
Trey, what's crazy is Freddie is making the argument for D-Book that I'm making for Donovan Mitchell. They both have elevated their defensive ability this season.
I'm going to tell you the difference.
I am biased towards Devin Booker because I don't feel like he's given what he's supposed to on the defensive end.
You got to watch him, bro. He's playing great. Clay don't count. You see what he did to Clay. He's done this to Kyrie. But more importantly, he's 6'5", 6'6".
To Clay?
Donovan Mitchell is 6'1", bro. Donovan Mitchell is 6'1".
Clay
he be acting like, look, he already admitted he biased.
No, Trey, hold on. We gotta walk that back. He said Klay Thompson, two knee surgery, 2 surgeries, bro.
But look, Reese, I gotta say this though. You also went in defense of Klay Thompson and talked about his gravity and stuff like that. So
he has gravity.
So if we're gonna talk about Klay Thompson, like Klay Thompson can still get you a 25-30 ball real quick.
Clay's just no longer an elite perimeter defender on smaller guards. Klay Thompson came back and averaged 20 last year and was averaging 19 per game in the playoffs before.
What are you averaging this year?
People try to act like Klay is just chopped.
What are you averaging this year?
He's having a down year right now, but Klay is still Klay for the most part. Like,
no, he's not. Klay is not.
I wouldn't necessarily say Klay, but this is going to have to be another discussion for another day.
You're crazy. Yeah.
Bars. Let's see. Damn, what we got on the dock?
I'm looking at who the Suns have played, Freddie, and I just don't see. I mean, like Luka dropped 37, Dame dropped 40, PG 35.
Who's guarding most of them? Miles Bridges, bro.
We're gonna hit the transition real quick. We can keep talking back. I think y'all would love this one.
All right.
I guess that's what I'm saying, though. Freddie can't put Mikal Bridges on Kawhi and PG.
Well, so here's the thing. But every team doesn't have both Kawhi and PG. Like that's just is what it is. But they got Torrey Craig as well, mind you, for that purpose. But more importantly, they were comfortable in how well Cam Johnson was coming along to say, okay, forget you, Jay Crowder, because Cam Johnson became a better defender and overall better all-around offensive player, better player overall, I should say. So that does allow them to say, okay, we're not gonna die. We're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? But I get what you're saying as well. But D-Book is a very good defender now, man. I can't.
I'm gonna watch more Suns games, Freddie. That's gonna be my homework assignment.
There you go.
I'm gonna really tune in to more Suns games. I will do that because I personally don't like watching the Suns, but I will do that.
You sound like watching the Suns. Yeah, I'm gonna say this. D-Book's effort on the defensive end is definitely there more so. I'm not gonna say I've like studied his defense. This was always tough. A lot like that, but effort definitely seems there more so.
But that's all. But I mean, Freddie and Trey, can we agree though that defense is effort?
Yeah.
To say that his effort is there this season is telling me that we can agree that he is not always given the effort.
Yeah. But I gotta say this too though, right? And this is I kind of differ because Spider to a degree is similar in this way. He hasn't had to like Spider had Rudy Gobert, right? Like he had a system, a team in place that had the defense situated. With D Book, you had to score, you had to play make, like you had to be the team, and the pieces they had around you, they were lackluster. So no disrespect, they all beat me on the court. I mean, maybe not, but still, they in the NBA realm, they're not that good. So I don't want to be a hypocrite, but at the same time, I don't want to knock D Book because of that. But I can say though, yes, he could have given more effort. So I hold him and Spider to the same level now. Like, all right, you have to display defense.
Right, because I mean,
you have to be it now. Earlier, it's understood. You're just trying to make a name for yourself, but you got to show you want to be great, and that's what
I'm about to say. Because D Book hasn't really had to do everything since the bubble.
That's not true. That's not true.
Once
Chris Paul is out right now. Chris Paul has missed time over those years.
Yeah, but they got a better team
scoring, facilitating, and defending.
They got a team to go to the finals since
they got a better team around them. Mikal Bridges is playing well. Aiton's playing better. Plus Cameron Johnson.
Jay Crowder.
That's cool. But again, watch the games and watch D-Book has so much more responsibility without Chris Paul.
No, he does. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm betting his overs on FanDuel when Chris Paul don't play. I'm gonna be honest. I do. I'm betting his overs when Chris Paul don't play because I know his usage percentage is gonna rise, and so I know that it's gonna be more expected from him. I'm not denying that he has to play when Chris Paul is off the court. I'm talking about when Chris Paul is on the court. When Cam Johnson is on the court. I'm talking about when everybody is there. What is D Book really focused on? And I think it's only putting the ball in the basket. That's just how
I feel. True. Okay.
I'm biased though.
Y'all gotta watch some more tape. But
I'm gonna say this about D Book. He's not gonna be on the DPOY. He's not gonna be on the DPOY. But is the DPOY weak this season though? That's my question. Because I was looking at, and I forget. Damn, I'm mad I didn't write down the list. But I was looking at the list that they gave, right? I didn't really like it too well. So I just had something real quick that was drawn up. Let me know.
It's Giannis, Marcus Smart, and Bridges, right?
I know Giannis was up there, number one.
Marcus Smart.
I saw Rudy Gobert up there also.
Okay, then maybe
Jared Allen on there?
Bridges.
No, Allen was not on there for the top five. No.
Okay.
He was not. But
I know Marcus Smart is number 2. I know that because I saw that when they tweeted it. So I know that Marcus Smart was number 2 in the last ladder that I saw.
Okay.
That wasn't the one I saw, but the one I saw I didn't really like. But this is what I came up with so far. Because I just want y'all take on this.
It was OG. That's who it was.
Giannis,
OG, and Marcus Smart. That's the list that I saw. That I saw. Giannis, OG, and Marcus Smart.
Because OG leading the league in steals.
And 3 a game.
3.1 to be exact. And then and here's my thing too, because I know you guys said earlier, I think we're all going to agree that it's who's gonna lead or who's gonna be the defensive player of the year, right? And I feel like you're gonna say Giannis, and I feel like Brook Lopez on cue came up because this man is leading the league in blocks. He's also has, if I'm not mistaken, what's the I got the breakdown here. He has a lower defense rating, but he has the same win shares, and he's leading the league in blocks. He's also getting you like 0.6 steals. So I'm like, all right, why is he not defensive player of the year? Because
it's also that impact, right? Eye test, you can tell who really, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you're absolutely right. In fact, I was looking, bro, 5 of the 6 best defensive ratings are on the Milwaukee Bucks, which is wild. Yeah, so I get what you're saying as far as that. That'll probably cause Giannis to lose.
That's why
the entire team is playing very good defensively.
Exactly, because Drew Holiday could even make it on the top 5. I had to put Evan Mobley down there just because I think Evan Mobley is a better individual defender, more mobile on the perimeter. So that's why I had him higher than Drew Holiday and Jared Allen.
Yeah, I had Jared Allen.
Jared Allen some love too, though, because Jared has been doing his thing. But like you said, though, the Bucks have been having a pretty solid team. Like, what's his name? Javon Carter?
Yeah.
Out there defend. Like, what? That's wild. I don't know.
His post-game interview was cold.
What he said? I missed.
I said, Javon, with players out today, looks like you picked up a lot of slack. When did you know that you were going to that you could do all of this, and pretty much asked him when he knew that he was nice like this. He said, "When I woke up." About it, man. So I was like, yo, his answer was just straight face. He ain't crack a smile or nothing when I woke up, and boom. But yeah, so respects to him.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be honest though, right? This is why I feel like guys like Marcus Smart should always be in that conversation. Not as a Celtics fan.
Never a segment where he cannot plug in.
No, seriously. Trey, seriously, hear me out. We switch every screen in Boston, okay? Marcus Smart is probably the only point guard that you will see guarding the other team's center 25 to like 33% of the game and not allowing buckets. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not even gonna say nothing else. But I will also say though, to say that Milwaukee has all those players in that top, you know what I mean, 5, they played Philly, Houston, Brooklyn, New York, Atlanta, Detroit twice, OKC twice, the Spurs, and the Timberwolves. I'm not saying that we just talked about the Timberwolves needing to figure it out. We know who Houston is. They played Detroit twice. We just beat Detroit by 10 plus without Jaylen Brown. Same way the Bucks did without Chris Middleton. You know what I mean? The only team they really played of respect is Atlanta because the Nets still don't know what the hell they're doing over there. So I get it. They played the Nets game 3. They played the Nets game 3 when Ben Simmons was still starting, which was a mistake.
If your statement is to try and lower Lopez and Giannis, I hear you.
No. I'm not trying to lower them. I'm trying to lower them. I'm trying to lower Grayson Allen. That's who I'm trying to lower. That's who I'm trying to lower Grayson Allen. Like let's. Wow. I mean, come on.
To throw Marcus Smart in there, that's crazy. Former Defensive Player of the Year. How low we have fallen. It's okay though. Wow. Grayson, shout out to you though, because you have been hooping apparently.
Where did Grayson play basketball after college, Trey?
For Duke, you already know. Well, and look, he got me one of these bad boys right here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You see that right there.
Okay.
Now,
yes, sir.
I got a serious question though. Is it fair because, like we just stated, the Bucks have a lot of players who are in like defensively, right, in the top 50, top 100, whatever the case may be. Is it fair then to drop both Brook Lopez and Giannis lower than Ivica Zubac, who I had 4, or Evan Mobley, who I had 5th? Because Zubac and Mobley, again, Clippers, Cavs, good defensive teams. But I think the Bucks at this current point in time have a little bit more. So would it be fair to say that if to see them progress the same way, like how we're talking about now is how it ends, should we throw Zubac and Mobley ahead of Giannis?
I was going to say, Trey, I mean, Fred, let me just say what I got to say because it's real quick. To say, I personally don't feel like you should be able to drop Lopez or Giannis. Really, in reality, I don't feel like you could drop Drew Holiday or Grayson Allen either. And the reason I'm saying that is because Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year last year with every other starter getting a first-team All-NBA vote. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, I feel like good defensive teams are good defensive teams. You can't not be best defender on the team because there are, I mean, like we talked about it earlier, a GM job is to construct the best team. If your identity is defense, as a GM, I should be going to get the best defenders, you know what I mean? The best two-way guys that I know that will work in this system. That's what we did last year in Boston. Marcus Smart won DPOY. And like I said, every starter got a first-team All-NBA defensive vote.
I think it's a little bit different when you're trying to do All-NBA and then Defensive Player of the Year. Like defense, if this was an all-defensive team, then I might hear you on that. But all NBA, I feel like Trae Young is all NBA caliber.
No. When I say all, I meant first team defense. They all got a first team defense vote. Yeah. They all did. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like you can. I mean, if Brook Lopez or Giannis were to win DPOY, And in the same breath, everybody on that starting unit should get a nod for first all-team defense because they are defending. I mean, they're not like Giannis ain't out. Brooke and Giannis are not the only guys out there playing defense, and that's the same respect that they got in Boston last year. Marcus Smart was not the only person on that team playing defense.
Okay. So, just to clarify, then, who is you guys' pick? I gotta go OG right now, personally, but Freddie, I'm assuming Giannis for you.
I'm Giannis, yeah, but OG was. I forgot. I'll be honest. I forgot about OG, so I'll say Giannis. I hope OG wins it though. I'll say that.
I'm going back to back. I'd love to see back to back DPOY from my boy Marcus Smart. So just fandom.
We don't have write-ins.
We don't have from a Celtics.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see a back to back, and he's been doing it defensively. But like I said, though, he is a guard who was going to be matched up against 3, 4, and 5s all game. Just put it out there.
People in hell would like to see ice water. So off the 5 that we gave. No, all right. So
OG definitely gets it. OG definitely.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Also, I mean, if you gotta make me use that list, OG. Definitely.
Well, no. I'm about to say, like, if you don't, so like you really think Marcus Smart would win it over Lopez, Giannis, and OG? Like, seriously?
I mean, if the media says it, I mean, we
act like not gonna let a guard get back to back.
That's what I'm saying, though, Freddie. But that's what I'm saying, though, Freddie. Like, when's the last time we had a back-to-back DPOY? When's the last time we had a back-to-back DPOY?
They're not letting the guard win back-to-back defensive players.
That's what I'm saying.
They barely let guards win it.
That's the best.
But like,
should have had one.
You gotta make a strong case as to why he beats OG. But that's gonna have to be that's gonna be at another time though. There might be a decent would you rather, but I don't know. Did I make that a would you? Nah, I'll save it for another day.
I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I got to go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here, too.